Welcome back to the Cantina. This is going to be a bit of a down note to start on the episode, but then it's going to get more uplifting as we go on. So just stick with the program. Stick
hang with us.
With the program. We're going to start off by pouring one out for what was an incredible first season of The Acolyte.
Cheers.
Led and created and directed by Leslie Headland and her creative team. Just what a fantastic show, and it just really sad news kind of hitting the fan base this week, especially for us three, who just wanted to see where things were going after all the fun setups sort of at the end of that season, and hinting at what's to come. So let's just go around the in a circle here and just talk about our thoughts and feelings about the show not getting renewed for a second season.
Yeah.
Can I go first? I might be at my lowest Star Wars fandom point in a long, long time. Because was this my favorite Star Wars show? No. Honestly, on my list of like live action Star Wars show, it might be middle to slightly underneath the middle, to be honest. But was it doing something different? Yes. Was it doing something different than, like, I love the Filoniverse, but like we need more diversity in storytelling and different tones and different things and different eras. And we got it and they killed it. And it just makes me feel like we're just never going to move away from, or not move away from, we're never going to expand from where we're at in Star Wars Starlink. So I'm feeling a really kind of, to be honest, down because of that. I'm feeling really kind of not hopeful about Star Wars right now. So you guys, how you
make
feel?
You feel better about that? I think those two concepts are sort of mutually exclusive. Like it, that the numbers weren't great on it, but I think if
true. The numbers they made up.
I believe that Kathy's still going to keep trying. It's just like some of these are going to hit and some of them are going to miss. And this one apparently missed. I do want to say, as a little piece of hope here, I'm not believing this until I hear it from A, Kathleen Kennedy, or an official at Lucasfilm, or B, Leslie Headland.
Weirdly silent, right? From that neck of the woods.
Deadline,
I agree.
I think was the article that broke it first. I think I looked at Star Wars.
Yeah, and then like Variety
picked it up. Like everyone, it's the kind of story that spreads like wildfire, and it did. But I haven't heard anything official from Lucasfilm or Leslie. So I just think let's take it as it is happening because the whole world thinks it's happening right now. But there is an outside chance that maybe this got leaked and they're trying to gauge approval or, and then, so there's been a storm of people posting Nielsen ratings, and that's kind of all we have to go on. And this announcement came like within 24 hours of the last release, like the latest release of actually how the show did. And so I'm wondering if the people jump to conclusions, like that's possible based, it's definitely lower than all of the other shows,
They
went down.
The Nielsen ratings, I'll say, from a methodological standpoint, are really sketchy when it comes to streaming stuff. It's not like they used to be where they actually put a box in people's homes. It's very weird. And as we know, and it was part of the negotiations, we're still not actually getting true data from any of the streamers. Really, they put out some data. Since we're in the middle of a presidential election, do not trust polls from campaigns and do not trust ratings from the streamers. Those are numbers that allow them to justify underpaying actors and creators and doing whatever they want. The other thing that seems weird to me too, to kind of like build on that, Ben, is like D20, Comic-Con and D23 were a full push for the Acolyte. Mere weeks before this happened. They knew what the ratings were at that point. Disney knew what the ratings were. So it's weird that this happened. Like they announced all this giant push into comics and books and what's his name?
Manny Jacinto did a
emotional. Was at D23 doing all this stuff. So it's something. I agree. I think I texted immediately when this happened of like something smells fishy about this. But still, I don't know.
With the gravity it's been a while. Sort of the plotting and the characters that are set up at the end of that season. I mean, even if they're not renewed for another season on Disney Plus, it's who's to say we don't get a theatrical release? Who's to say we don't get a larger project that maybe focuses on
really
Darth Plagueis, right? Like this is a major character in the canon that we all know about. Maybe it's
a feature film. Yeah.
it's almost the Batman Begins for Palpatine, right? Or it's like something that's almost like an origin story for Palpatine. It could be wonderful. It could have been so expansive and powerful.
It couldn't be like
film.
season 1, right? Like season 1 was this like mystery box, but it's like all the mysteries are pretty much open except for who Plagueis is, and and
it's the biggest mystery of all. It almost, in my opinion,
here's the thing is
for a film. So I would love for Leslie Headland to get.
It does calls for something. Film. Are we playing into their hands right now? Is this a weird head fake to be like, yeah, the Acolyte is not moving forward because Darth Plagueis is on Disney Plus, right? Like, are they retooling and re-aiming and refocusing what the show is going to be? And it's not going to be the journey of the Acolyte.
Oh, that would be a little upsetting to me as a fan.
Darth Plagueis.
Osha
it would be upsetting,
is such a fascinating character, Osha and May, and you almost want to see the crisscrossing of where May is headed and where Osha's headed on the other sort of, the dark side and light side, respectively. I don't know. I would be a little perplexed.
A Plagueis POV
focus.
film? Go on.
Coming of age.
Stop.
What if directed by David Lynch? Let's go.
What if there are 3 limited series? This is not actually a continuous series, and it's The Acolyte, followed by The Apprentice, followed by The Master. That's the three shows. The Acolyte, The Apprentice, The Master.
I love that.
Yeah, there's ways to stay optimistic. I think.
All right, I feel better.
Good.
Thanks,
I'm not
guys.
even going to talk about the negative. Like my first gut reaction was like throwing my cell phone across the room, and I'm like, the trolls won.
No, exactly. I'm so upset. No, I think I do want to call out this sort of hate-filled content mills on YouTube. And all types of social platforms. It's just like the fact that you are sowing divisiveness. In a country that is already so divided, like it's just you're just adding more pain into the circuitry of this nation.
Well, you're also
you shouldn't feel good about that, no matter how many ad dollars and how many views you're getting. Like this is not good work. And then when you say like the writing of a show is bad, for me, when you say something like that, it means the dialogue is bad, and like. I thought the dialogue was great in the Acolyte. I thought it was fantastic. If you think the plotting is bad, please be more specific. Please specify.
Yeah, you can't say writing is bad because that is
what you're angry about.
That is because the thing about writing is like that. As great as a writer, as you know, that's as a writer in film and television, as you know, like that's the starting point, right? Because it gets like a show gets rewritten from the page to when it's shot to when it's edited and everywhere in between. So like it's hard to say what writing is.
Thinly veiled critiques that I was hearing from some of these just hate-filled outlets, and it was just like
angry. There's no white dudes in it.
That's a huge part of it. That's a huge part of it. It's like they're just angry about the diversity. They're angry about
so transparent.
Things. They're angry about the show before it even comes out. This show was already targeted before it even released, and it's so upsetting to me.
The other thing that's frustrating is it makes our job. It's not our job. We don't get paid for this, but it makes what we do harder to do because I want to thoughtfully critique that show. Because there are things to me in that show that really didn't work. There are things that really worked. And that's true of any Star Wars. You've heard me. I've gone after Star Wars before. I was much more hesitant to go after the Acolyte on a show because I don't want to be grouped in with those people because I'm white and I wear a beard and I kind of look like I get a lot of people. I get a lot of people wearing "Make America Great Again" hats that like nod and smile at me. And I'm like, no, don't. Dude,
I don't like
I have a
that.
Shaved head
like I'm a white dude. It's like
I won't even wear a red hat.
Everyone I know like I went out with my friend. I'm like, where's your Phillies hat? He was wearing like a Minnesota, like he's from Philadelphia, and he's like, but he's wearing his like Minnesota Twins hat because like his wife's from Minnesota. I'm like, dude, where's the Phil's hat? He's like, I don't like to wear red hats and mix company.
Not
real
talk.
Like won't wear red hats.
So
and
true.
I'm like, that's really smart.
I
want to talk about that, Adam, because that's actually something I wanted to then segue to, which is that I have a lot of criticisms of the show, but I don't need a safe, like it's a safe place for the creator and the cast and just the diversity reflected in the show is so much more important than a safe place for me to make my subjective criticisms of the show. Do I want to talk about the show and what I think worked and what didn't work? Yes, but at the same time, it's not as important for me to have that time and share that piece of myself when other people are being hurt and insulted and targeted and there's review bombing and there's all this just disgusting behavior out there. It's like, I don't care about what I have to say about the show at that point. We have to solve this first, and then in the future maybe we can have more interesting intellectual conversations
discourse.
Yeah, I mean, I watched one. There was like a thing popped up, and I was like, "What is this?" It was like right when I we were in the middle of the season, and it was like Acolyte, like Leslie Headland ruined Star Wars something, and I watched like 30 seconds of it, and I'm like, what is the quote that it was like something about a quote, and it was a quote from Leslie Headland, and it was completely taken out of context and interpreted like obviously not what she meant. Like, they're just hate-filled, and that was the last thing I clicked, and I just was like, unfollow. Like, I don't know how to thumbs down. Allegedly, you're supposed to be able to block some people, but I'm like, oh my gosh. And it had like 300,000 views on it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is what people are seeing, and it's like, it's awful, and I wish it wasn't there, but it's going to be there, I think, for a very long time, and it's something that Disney knows exists. And I just have to, since we've had time to digest this, I think let's go back to the beginning of our episode here, where I think, it didn't get great ratings according to the metrics they had available, and that may be it, but hopefully something else comes out of it. But I just don't think it really made me think less about Kathleen Kennedy, again, who I never criticize because I think she's doing an amazing job. But I'm like, if she gives in to the trolls on this one, but I don't really think she did. Yeah, I think she's looking at different things.
I don't think she did. I also don't.
Well,
I also don't know that she has final say.
That could be.
I think there are people above her that also.
It's the in data we trust mentality that sort of rules Disney. I mean, like, this is and also, like, the numbers you did share with us, Ben. Like, I did see that the show consistently drew around the same number of people that Andor was drawing in, except for the finale, where Andor, I think, doubled in terms of viewership, and this show sort of stayed at the same rate.
The wildest one is the closest analog to Acolyte is Andor, which is for me my favorite piece of Star Wars maybe ever. But allegedly, what happened really is Andor started slow and got huge, and it's also different to tell because it's 8 episodes versus 12, so that actually screws up your numbers. And then, but like Acolyte started huge and then went down.
I mean, and to be frank, we are being honest. It's like, I don't think it had the strongest premiere for a movie, like for a show. It didn't really necessarily catch me, but we watch everything. We weren't going to give up on it.
Do you want me to roll the tape?
I remember coming back on this thing going, yeah, I do. Because I think I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I think it was my original reaction to this thing. But I don't know. Like, the problem is, okay, we are leading to really tricky territory of following, as you said, Grant, like in numbers they trust, that Disney trusts, which are all the other people. So I have like 3 data points, and once we get the 3 data points, we now start having a pattern. We have Bob Iger criticizing the Marvels this summer, talking about the fact that not every movie has to have a message and be about an issue, right? Which that movie really isn't, and basically saying saying out loud the things they're thinking, which is like, oh, it's all women, it doesn't do well.
True.
We then have this happening now where
Bob Iger said some terrible things during the writer's strike, but like, I don't know. I think he's one of the more progressive executives out there.
I don't think he is. I think he's hiding behind a cloak of progressivism. I think he is.
He started a war.
Here's
with
the other narrative
Republican
we have.
governor.
We now
and won, by the way.
Well, yeah, but he started that out of monetary reasons.
Yeah, but why can't it be for good things too?
Capitalism is inherently evil and destructive.
But,
sorry,
maybe he meant well while he was destroying things with capitalism.
I don't think he did. He said some really shady things about. He equated the Marvels failing to the fact that it was about women. And anyway, I can pull up the tape. So we also have now that Inside Out 2 is one of the biggest successes of the summer. It's a great movie. I saw it. There's this weird narrative now going around the internet that it's an anti-woke movie.
Sure, fine.
I don't get it. Watch the movie. I don't get it. And then now we have this fact that the Acolyte's canceled. Now, here's my point.
Okay.
none of these things. I know it's a wonderful thing about teaching people about
development.
anxiety and how to deal with anxiety.
Please watch it.
Right? Actually, yeah. I don't get it. But my point is that like I don't think, to kind of pull back on the Bob Iger stuff, I don't think they're doing it thoughtfully, but they are giving credence to this subgroup of trolls that's making me very, very nervous, right? Because the problem is, should they, from a financial standpoint, cancel the Acolyte? Maybe. If the numbers bear out,
they did also spend a lot of money on
decision.
it. 180 million.
It's very expensive. Yep.
Andor actually had a huge budget. It had like 250 million, it also had 12 episodes.
Yeah. But let me hold on. Let me finish my point though. So yes,
they spent a lot of money
absolutely. Like I get that from a financial standpoint. The problem is similar to how it makes it difficult for us to thoughtfully critique this show. By canceling the show, you've now fed into these trolls who are taking this not as, oh, they canceled it because of business, but we did it. We proved that woke media, whatever that even means, doesn't work. Like that's what scares me about this, right? So it feels like they actually had a, which is weird to say, they almost had a ethical obligation to continue this show, which they should not be put in that position, which is weird.
Lucasfilm makes the right decision in those cases. They stand behind, what they love. I mean, Last Jedi was also like panned, and they're like, it's a great movie. Thanks for all your money. They just, they usually stick to their guns, but you're right. It's even just the appearance to encourage these people to think that they're correct and validating all their like clicks. Like it's a little gross to me. And again, I want to hear from the horse.
I just don't want media. I don't want the stuff politicized. Right. I don't want it politicized either way. Like I don't want it for my sake or their sake. Right. I just want us to champion thoughtful, good storytelling.
Yeah. And if I was to ask you guys, do you want to see the second season of Ahsoka, or do you want to see the second season of The Acolyte? And you can only choose one. What's your answer?
Acolyte, yeah.
Acolyte.
Me too. Acolyte.
Even though I think I liked Ahsoka better, Acolyte led to set up more interesting things to me. That like
it's so sad because it's like what I see is happening is that Lucasfilm Disney is suffering from a monoculture essentially, as a kind of Filoni, Amblin, Lucasian sort of like monoculture, wherein the Acolyte and Andor are new exotic seeds, new plants. Yeah. And if you just nurture and care for these new ideas and this new direction, I think it'll pay off hugely in a massive way. Whereas I think you're going to get the MCU effect's going to happen, wherein the Filoniverse and the Mandoverse and the Favreauverse and the John Watts, 4-quadrant Amblin Star Wars verse and all that stuff is going to just lead to this sort of soul-deadening monoculture.
That's why I'm depressed.
And, it would be Marvel.
Yeah, because I feel like we're there.
Right, it would just become Marvel, and you get the exact same effects as to what's happening with MCU right now, right? And so, if I was an executive, I would take the risk right this second and just keep pushing. Andor level, Beau Willimon, Tony Gilroy, Dan Gilroy written stuff. Whoever wants to stay, please stay. I want you guys to stay in this ecosystem for as long as possible. Leslie Headland, I want you to stay in this ecosystem. I want Rian Johnson's trilogy. Like I want to do all the new stuff essentially.
I want everything. I want it all.
Give us Taika Waititi. There's some people so close, like
or new voices altogether.
All those, all those directors from Mandalorian, those guest directors. Deborah Chow got her chance, but
Rick Famuyiwa directed some of the best Star Wars.
Famuyiwa, Howard.
Like if you know talent, and Bob Iger says he's a talent first sort of CEO.
Yeah.
Not in my opinion. Not in my opinion. No, I don't think so at all. What I'm seeing he's funding what is, I think, where people are talented in terms of like storyboarding, action blocking, creating George Lucas-esque Star Wars. Sure, great. It's extremely talented that you're following a template. Like new ideas is true talent, is natural talent. And when you see new ideas, you need to be able to identify those new ideas and identify those new artistic interpretations. 100%. And you need to foster those those kind of creatives. That's who you foster essentially. If you say you're a talent first CEO. Or
the other thing is that Disney or Lucasfilm, I'm gonna say Disney, has this. There's a pattern developing. So when they first got a hold of
Froze, buddy. We lose.
Am I back? Am I back?
Now you're back. Now you're back.
Back. Yeah.
Now you're frozen again.
Lucasfilm had this. Am I frozen? Can you hear me?
Now
you're good now.
Good. You're good now.
Okay. Sorry, guys. All right. So, Lucasfilm has this like pattern, or Disney has this pattern that's kind of disturbing me, which is like, so when they first got the movies, right? It was going to be Skywalker Saga, standalone film, Skywalker Saga, standalone film. Remember?
Yeah.
That was it. And then Solo happened, and they went, oh no, and then ran away from that completely, right? It was like, nope, we're not doing that anymore. As opposed to going, well, maybe we shouldn't be putting these movies out so close together. Maybe one a year is the actual model. Then the same thing with these TV shows is that they were doing for a long time a Filoniverse show, something outside of that. A Filoniverse show, something outside of that. And they were doing that, and I love that because that's the way. Because keep the Filoniverse. That stuff's great. Like that is to me
the
is
Favreauverse.
The center of Star Wars.
I mean, it's really the Favreauverse.
I call it
like,
I mean. So,
Filoni really only made
Ahsoka
and Rebels, right? He's there,
but heavily.
I would say
heavily.
I would say it's Favreau,
writing.
man. I want to give credit.
It's a team effort.
Favreau wrote everything, so it's like I want to give him credit where it's due. He did. He wrote all.
His name is on all the
scripts.
His name is on all of the all the scripts.
On the Mandalorian scripts.
Yes, all the Mando scripts. So
yeah,
and all the Book of Boba Fett
and I think he put it
through.
Too.
Yeah.
Well. No, let's not brag.
I'm just saying, but I just want to say there is a difference between Favreau and Filoni.
But let's say that, that Favreau Filoniverse, because it is all tied together connectively,
yeah.
right? But I think you're right.
So when they take the stage together at D23 as creative partners, we can only assume they're creative partners. So,
which they've said since day one, so I like it. But I think I feel like it's starting to turn into Filoniverse because of where it's going. So that's kind of why.
But can I get really cynical for a second?
Sure.
My point is, wait.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
No, finish your point. Finish your point, because I think it ties into it.
Is this the first time we know Andor season 2 is coming? Is this the first time there's nothing on the horizon announced that is non-Favreau Filoniverse in the TV universe? Is there anything? The only thing we know is coming is Skeleton Crew, Andor, and Ahsoka season 2. And Mando season 4 is apparently also happening. That's it, right?
And the feature film, which is technically
a
season,
which is within there, but like in terms of TV, right? Like I think that's it, which is kind of scary to me. And I know Iger is kind of just like they're all pulling it back from the TV stuff, so I think we're just going to get less and less and less.
What have we been getting? We've been getting 2 shows a year. Or like
that's what we're about
and maybe an animated as well, and I think they, I think it might be coming out less. Anyways, on to the cynicism.
Yeah. So be cynical.
Oh, sorry.
Do it.
I just worry that you sacrifice your moral principles when you try to capture extremely wide demographies of people in viewerships numbers, essentially.
Yep.
I worry that Disney is trying to cast the widest net for this Mandalorian and Grogu film, and so they're trying to keep the horrifically toxic, hate-filled male gaze, sort of influencers in that net, and like removing things that are extremely interesting and progressive and potent from the slate. And it's like, and that's to me, that's just like, that is the horrors of capitalism. Like I really hope that's not the situation. I hope they're not clearing the slate for the Mandalorian and Grogu and trying to capture the widest net possible. But the cynical side of me thinks that's exactly what's happening.
Well, they shot themselves in the foot because all they're doing now is encouraging people to now move to the next thing, which will be Mandalorian and Grogu, which will ruin someone's childhood and it'll light fire and go across the thing. I have to think they'll do something, and I have to be hopeful here. That is cynical, yet based in sound reason and thought. But I'm just gonna choose to be hopeful on this one because, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it. They know what they did, and I mean,
because the same numbers you shared with us. I mean, the Mandalorian was huge. Like the viewership is massive for that, and to lose any of that, was doubling. I could see the chief financial officer worried about that, and God, that's so upsetting.
Can I make a point
They
about
make Mandalorian for $100 million a season, and they made Acolyte for $180 million.
Yeah, and can I make a point about Ahsoka too? That also, don't forget, that was at the peak of the writer's strike, which means there was no promotion going on for that show.
Yeah, right.
So and so they had to have taken that into account because they did a huge push for promotion for the Acolyte.
I was so surprised by the numbers for Ahsoka. I was like astonished because as we were watching that show,
I haven't heard anyone
like,
talk about that show.
Does anyone know what's going on in this show? Who is like outside the purview of Rebels and the Star Wars canon and all that sort of stuff? Like, does anyone know what's happening in this?
Like it's too hardcore.
If you go back and listen to our episodes, it's like the most inside baseball show of all time.
Oh.
For Star Wars, and I just can't believe the numbers you shared with. Are those real numbers? Like I need to see the source.
No,
I don't believe.
I need to get it. So here's the thing, I need to know as a statistician, as a researcher, I always need the methodology used to collect the data, and when they provide the methodology, it is vary for these things. I have not dug into this, so I'm just saying this from past experiences. So my life's crazy right now. I don't have time to be digging into these numbers. Maybe in a couple of weeks, as things lighten up, I might actually start looking at it because I'm a nerd. We'll actually read the methodology. They are very vague and scant. And if I can't replicate, this is social science and hard science. If you can't read someone's methodology and replicate what they did, you cannot believe the results. You are not allowed to believe the results because that's bad science.
Again, let's wait until we hear. I can't wait until we get a comment on this from Lucasfilm.
It's going to be great when we come back next week and there's some grand announcement and we're all like just taking back this.
I would love it so much to like. Yes,
great.
There will not be another Acolyte series. They're going to be feature films.
Yeah, and it's like the Acolyte text like dissolves into the Apprentice or something like that. And like should become
right. Like maybe they're doing a Clone Wars Bad Batch thing, right?
Here. Hey, we
need that, right? We need to win this fight, and hopefully Disney does the right thing and ignore numbers now and again. Please ignore the numbers and embrace real talent when you see it. Thank you.
Do we want to do that, or do we want to do draft?
Do we want to jump into comics, guys, or do you want to jump to what we're thinking would be a super fun time, which is an Underworld?
The poor comics. I'm not going to remember them. Let me just check the time here. Oh, we have plenty of time. We have plenty of time to do both. Well,
all right.
I don't know. The draft is going to be amazing, but let's do the comics quickly here.
Okay, comics quick.
We'll do it quickly.
Darth Maul is
from people who love.
Are we
going
to do Darth Maul first?
Yeah, you want to do Darth Maul first?
I love it. So this is Darth Maul, Red, White, and Black. A series of 5 vignettes, all by different authors. New authors to me, except for the finale was done by Ethan Sachs. But
I think each issue is done by a different.
Yeah, each issue is done by a different author and artist too. The last one was Ethan Sachs. So but the other ones I didn't recognize. They're all new to me. But you guys may know who they are.
I don't know. I was going to say, I was just looking. Greg Pak, I know. Greg Pak is a name I know. And Mark Russell is a name I'm familiar with. The other two, I did not leap out to me.
Ben Percy, I've read a bunch.
Yeah, I must have. But
I think he did Wolverine, if I'm not mistaken. And
I've been paying, ever since we've been doing Star Wars comics, I've been paying more attention to writers, which I knew I should have done before, but for some reason I would just consume comics without looking at the credits page as a bad comic book fan.
But Maul, fantastic. All of them were very. I mean, it started off with a bang with there was a cross-dimensional chaotic species that was going to take over the galaxy.
That was my favorite one. Yeah,
mine was the finale, but
haunting.
Yeah, and I was like, like World Between Worlds, like genre, like canon craziness. But it was like someone even more evil than the Emperor, and like Maul put it down like a rabid dog. It was just like, no.
It's basically, I feel like it was just like the pitch was like, or it's like Darth Maul if Darth Maul was in Event Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah, it just felt like a haunted space station sort of situation, but you're throwing Darth Maul into the mix.
Yeah, so he'll be fine
as in a narrative experiment. Because like oftentimes when you're in that situation, it's some poorly equipped survivors that are just barely making it through, whereas Maul is like just ready to take down whatever steps in front of him.
Point me in the right direction. Like such such a devout like Sith, just like military like soldier that just wants to like succeed and kill and do his thing, and single-minded. I mean, I just want to frame this real quickly. So this takes
same.
It takes place during Maul's tutelage by Darth Sidious. So like early
which is a relatively short period of time.
But so much great content's come out of there. I mean, a lot of it's legends, I think, but like Shadows of the Sith Shadowbinder. I don't know. There was a bunch of great early
Shadow Hunter.
Thank you. There was a bunch of great early Maul stuff that actually these comics feel exactly like in their timbre. He's just doing awesome stuff all the time, and he's being dark and vicious and So anyways, it's just a really exciting time, and there's a lot of the Emperor in this.
And a very similar setup. Like almost every issue is Palp sends him on a mission. Right? Like that's kind of it. And how does he complete it? And how does he complete it? With his lightsabers. Always with his lightsabers. Which that's not even a critique.
Acrobatics.
Like I love the fact that Maul doesn't change. Maul doesn't change between issue 1 and issue 4, even though Palpatine keeps trying to make him change. And I feel like what we're actually getting is the story of why he's just like, this guy's got to go. This guy I'm more happy about this 10-year-old boy than I am about this guy, because he's just this person does not learn. No, he's evolved.
Just a serial killer. And I do like that they do use more of his force powers in this. Like he has to use like some real cerebral force stuff to clear his mind. He does, force pull push, do these like amazing feats with force energy, which we don't really see in live action or ever. He's just sort of like a one-note lightsaber whiz, an acrobatics guy, but like no, he's like very strong in the force in this, and that's fun to see.
Yeah, I really liked the third issue where he kind of like has to take out that dude in the underworld who saw Palpatine and like in having a conversation with our guy, what's his name? Togruta, who's always with him.
Masameda.
Masameda, yeah, he's having the conversation. That was a fun issue. I just want to give the writer credit. Erica Schultz.
That name
just really liked this issue quite a bit. And the art was gorgeous. The art in all of these issues are stunning.
Yeah. What I liked about this issue is just like it's a very simple setup in terms of like just go kill this person. Right, is basically the entire goal, and it could be a very like if Maul just listened to his master, it would be a 2-page comic, right? But Maul is starting to get the inklings of wanting to know why, and the whole thing is like Palpatine's just mad at him for asking why throughout the entire issue, which I really enjoyed.
My favorite.
That is like every issue to me was like mission, why, because I said so, and
right.
division.
Stop asking questions.
The first one, he was supposed to capture that dark entity, and like Maul was like, no, like no one. That thing should not
kill
live.
This.
Yeah, I kill that. Like everything. He was just like, actually, he didn't follow his master's instructions. He's like, no, there's no.
Yeah, it's too much.
It was like an eldritch horror. You don't
keep that around. It's.
You can't put that thing on a leash.
My favorite.
I did think he was going to find the Kyber, like the giant Kyber crystal that was like in the Vader comics. I thought that's what Maul was doing.
Oh, he was going to like discover it, and then it was going to be like transported.
I thought that's what it was in that position. Yeah, so funny.
My favorite issue was the Sax issue, the last one, because like the whole moral of it was Sidious tells Maul to like go to this Sith temple and relax. And he's just like, we'll see how that goes, like knowing full well what would happen. And I just thought that was like an amazing premise. And also that like Maul, I mean, well, he's pretty bloodthirsty, but it just so happened his antagonists were all terrible people, but he like sort of befriends the motel keeper. And then, there's all these, essentially he kills poachers that are running over there, and he actually saves the local wildlife. Like you get behind Maul in that issue, and he's virtuous, and ultimately I think he destroys the town, or a lot of the town, because like the poachers keep coming, but he but I don't know, I thought it was like a hilarious premise, and it was just a fun.
It was cool. It was also like I feel like the sort of broader canon is now incorporating the Sith Eternal symbol in more places now, and in this Sith temple it's actually like there's sort of stone carving of the emblem itself, and I was like, okay, so this symbol is the canon symbol for the Sith. It's sort of after that issue, I was like, okay, we're gonna see this symbol a lot more in canon Star Wars storytelling
for sure.
Which
is great. This is what we do, right? This is what Star Wars does. It's backfills, right?
It's always there.
Yep, it was always there. You just didn't notice it before. But no, I love that. I love that issue. It feels like it just feels like a parable. Like it almost feels like it reads like a parable. It weirdly, this is going to be a reference that neither of you are going to get, but maybe some listeners will, and it's probably because I've been daddy daycare for the last month. But boy, does this issue feel like an episode of Bluey to me. Like a very violent episode of Bluey. like the setup and the jokes and like the fact that like there's a lesson taught. Also, Bluey is the best television show on TV right now. Just saying, not even kidding.
Yeah, I think
it's the best storytelling
movie coming out soon or in the development.
That's the rumors. Yeah. That show. Can I just make a point? That show released by surprise a 28 minute episode, which is like a movie because the most episodes are 8 minutes long, where they're like going to sell the house, and I sat there with my child because it dropped, and we were watching it in bed, and I'm sitting there going like, this is the end. This is the end. They're gonna sell the home and they're gonna move. They're gonna move. Like and like my child's just watching and I'm sitting here like going, oh no. And then they didn't. And then the next week they released a surprise episode. They're literally just called Surprise. That's just a regular episode, except they flash forward to Bluey as an adult. And I'm sitting there in bed going, and my daughter's just like, this is great. And I'm like, this is the best storytelling I've ever seen. Sorry.
They just like
I'm not even kidding.
Soul out of your chest, like in a kid's show. Yeah. That's great.
That I will cry twice watching Bluey. If we were watching Bluey for an afternoon, I guarantee you'd get choked up twice. There's an episode, just to whatever. There's an episode that I've got to just say this because I can't help but say there's an episode and like trigger warning for people who've gone through this, but there's an episode that actually deals with miscarriage in a way that's amazing that you don't know. If you're a child and you don't know what that is, you don't know what they're going through. But if you've gone through something like that or anything similar, which most Americans have who have tried to have kids, when you watch that episode, you're like, oh my God, that's what happened. Like I sat there and Carly and I just like looked at each other like, oh, and like my daughter's just like, we're like
devastating.
Yeah.
Like that's just what it is. Like they're just telling their story of how the kids came.
I love the listeners who've tuned into our sort of mall red, white, and black conversation. That was a quick swerve to Bluey territory, and then
that was a Bluey episode. If there are lightsabers and decapitations, it's a Bluey episode. All right, moving on.
Yeah. I think we spent enough time. I mean, they're all great episodes. There's one there. It's just like he just has to kill everyone in a compound, and it's really sad. And he kills everyone in a compound except for one. You know. Yeah.
Oh, the med center one.
Yeah, the med center.
Yeah, that one felt like Aliens to me. It felt like an alien where he was the xenomorph.
It felt like Maul was
like
the
in the vents.
Exactly, it was the xenomorph. Yeah. And Newt survived at the very end. So
good call that kid that or something.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say is I appreciate when they do these vignette comics because they don't have to tie into a large narrative, and so you can kind of just get like a pure character story.
Yes, and Maul's perfect for that.
Yeah,
and it's so cool that like they're doing it with the the Marvel superhero characters, and then they once in a while do a Star Wars character, and it's just like I love the Vader ones, I love these Maul ones. Like I just can't wait to see what kind of gritty character they usually pick, like the gritty, possibly street level characters in Marvel. Like they really want to capture the grit.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, Grievous,
totally. That would be good because we have so little Grievous in reality. Yeah.
I love Grievous. As I get older, I texted you guys this. I think that character's genius, and I just didn't give him enough credit back in the day. I just felt like it was a whatever sort of foil for the heroes, and like now I'm just like that character's actually quite
I think
brilliant.
Grievous is amazing, and I thought that from day one. I remember like walking out of the theater with my friends, and everyone's just like, "But General Grievous sucked," and I'm like.
Watch your mouth.
I'm like, no, but I'm like, because I was all whatever. I'm like, yeah, he sure did.
Oh.
Buy his Grievous figure.
And my friend and I walked out with a big group of people who saw Taken, and we're like, that was the worst movie. Oh, you guys liked it? Yeah, that movie is great.
Which movie?
Taken. It was one of those things where you walk in with a big group of family. You just feel like you all walked out with the same opinion. You think you walked out with the same opinion, and we're just like, oh. No. Okay. Yeah. That was good.
Taken 1?
Taken 1.
I don't know how you can dislike that movie. I feel like it just works all around.
I have my reasons, but anyway.
I mean, I'm not like optically, it's probably not the best. I'm a massive Taken fan, but like I'm just saying, like
I also don't think it's a horrible movie.
And
it did. I don't think
I
don't think it's an actually like bad movie. My friend and I were kind of like having a laugh at like a couple of scenes, and we're just like, this is really cheesy and kind of goofy. And like we got out and it was like, that movie was amazing. And I'm like, oh, we kind of thought it was more of a comedy. But
I will say this, Adam, I would never see Taken in a movie theater.
Yeah, it was a weird situation.
I would just not go see that movie. I watched it in the comfort of my own home and just thought it did all the right things and pushed that. It was ultimate girl dad saves daughter situation. I was like,
I don't want to yuck anyone's yum because I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think it's an actually bad movie, but it's just one of those weird experiences when you're just like, oh, we're not all on the same page here. But like same with Grievous. Like I was the other side of like Grievous is great. Yes, I love it. So let's give Grievous his own black, white, and green. I don't know what would be the color.
No, I'm like he's not quite red, but you could. Oh, right, because he has blue and green lightsabers, so it makes it a little hard.
Speaking of the Acolyte, have you seen
it could be his origin story though, pre lightsabers, and then they're blue and green when he. Yeah.
There you go. Have you seen the meme going around of the power of one, the power of two, the power of many, with just Grievous igniting his lightsabers? It's pretty great. Had a chuckle when I saw that on Instagram.
That's good times. I could see him singing that.
I mean, if you have more lightsabers, you're better off, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's the logic.
Yep. Yep. For the stranger.
I was a little angry that Obi-Wan sort of like disabled his arms so quickly.
I know.
I was like, no, let him get a couple more.
It could have been another like 5 minutes
against a non-force sensitive like Obi-Wan.
George
Kenobi?
Lucas.
Come on, that's just let him cook.
But he was trained by Count Dooku.
Too fast. Let's not forget. Too intense.
Oh my gosh, please. He was trained by Qui-Gon Jinn. Like Qui-Gon put him on defensive, like his whatever Form 3 stance, and it's like you can't mess with that.
Obi-Wan taking out Grievous with a blaster is quite possibly one of the greatest finishers in all of Star Wars history.
Yeah,
that was a moment where I was just like in the theater because I was kind of whatever in that, but I was like, this movie's cooking with gas right now. Like I was just like, I just love when he throws it away after using it.
So
like I love that he's like it's such an Obi-Wan, so uncivilized. That was great. Watching that in the theater again was so great. Seeing that moment in the theater.
It was great. That was great.
At 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Was I there for that?
You were.
Yeah, you were there. You were there. You made it up to. You made it through Empire.
I made it to Empire. That's right.
Yeah. So okay, Red, White, and Black. Fantastic. Please go read it. We also have High Republic, and Adam has all the details for that High Republic arc that we read.
I did last week. So
Skier is back.
What were the issues? It was
so issues 40... 6 to 10. Which is
the
finale of Phase 3, and this is the finale of Phase 3.1 because they are doing another one starting early next year.
Yes, yeah.
But this is the end of this one, and really it's just kind of the fact that the real quick version of this is that they're trying to rescue Skier. They do. He has some degenerative disorder that
McGrax syndrome.
McGrax, thank you.
Nice.
McGrax. Sorry. But they're basically
sounds like a sore throat. But
right?
Does that cause him to lose the force or something? Or no, it makes him a wild beast, right?
Kind of wild. Like he loses control. He's somewhat feral, which does give him advantage over the Nameless. Roll advantage over the Nameless.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm playing some D&D, so now my brain's
there.
But basically,
don't tell me the Nameless have entered your campaign.
No. Well, okay. So a big plot. Basically, at the end of the day, they're going after Gunal Munshi. Is Manshi? Which is the doctor of the
Nihil?
Ithorian doc.
Yeah,
Ithorian doctor
of the Nihil.
Boolean. Yeah, Boolean.
Or Boolean or Boolean?
Dr. Boolean?
Oh, Dr. Boolean, right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Monshi is the girl they're chasing after,
yes.
right? The little force sensitive. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
and
then
they meet,
to save her, but they run into Boolean, and he has Skier.
Yeah, Boolean kidnaps Skier and her, and they go and basically everything turns out all right in the end.
All right, is there a Nameless that he is experimenting on though, and like
he's experimenting on multiple
augmenting essentially,
yeah,
and like
that's
are
what
we
he's
going to
doing.
see those Nameless in the next book, or I guess Tears of the Nameless? Maybe we'll see these augmented Nameless.
Maybe
we
coming
saw them
out
in the last book.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, all this, basically
Right, we
most
did.
of the
They were
nameless that we're
at
seeing
the
now
end of the
are-
last book. They were there, and
Every time that happens in those books, though, it's just like the Jedi start getting so introspective, and I just don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. Like, it's just the prose kind of changes in terms of like, and then I felt a cold, sweat run down my neck, and I'm just like, okay, like I just don't know what's going on anymore because it gets so descriptive in terms of the Jedi
introspective.
internal.
Internal. Yeah.
But I want to give Kevin Scott a medal because do you know what he did in the series this season? Finally, he took 2 non-force sensitives with them to fight the nameless.
Yes.
Finally, they've been implementing the thing I've been
gold.
screaming at them for 2.5 years.
This is
now,
where our
right?
podcast takes a turn, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is.
And sure enough, not only did they defeat the nameless, they caught the bad guy.
Did it work? It worked.
It sure worked
Shocking.
great. In fact,
Dude,
they
you know
were
what?
controlling the
Why don't you
nameless
do
for a
better
while.
droids?
Yeah.
I feel like droids would be great too.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. That would be perfect.
But it was weird. It's somewhat anticlimactic because we got like Tarek and Sarek, and we thought we lost.
Yes.
We thought we lost one, but we
How many
didn't.
times has Tarek and/or Sarek died?
So
Allegedly
like
died.
3 times, I think at this point.
At least 3 times.
Not only have they died, almost died numerous times. It's like there's hints that one of them might turn to the dark side numerous times. I feel like at this point, Or I'm just like, all right, one of these guys is like one of them is gonna go dark side or die in like the next thing, and then they don't. And I'm just like, no, they're walking that that
Razor's
line.
edge.
It's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, they're great, but yeah, it's always, and it's just like they're always like, oh, I can't sense them, I can't, because they're like a hive mind twins. For people that don't know who Tarek and Sarek are,
They're cool. They're really neat.
Yeah.
They're super unique. Like that's what
right.
I love about
But it's
comics,
like
but
after
they're
the
not really
second
doing
or
much with
third
them.
time, wouldn't you be like, well, maybe he's still alive because that's happened like 2 or 3 times before. So
it's so funny that everyone, like all these other, relationships get labeled a dyad, but they're like the most dyadic of all time.
Yeah.
And it's like they're just not a dyad, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, a precursor to May and
Right, like May and Osha, Kylo and Rey.
They're
like,
one
okay.
person. Like,
May,
it's literal.
May and Osha are much. I could see them being a dyad, but like
they don't share
Tarek
a
and Sarek.
mind. Like like Tarek and Sarek do.
No, they do though. Like that, they say that explicitly in the show. Like they're the same consciousness divided into 2 twins. essentially.
Yes.
which is honestly mind bending and so upsetting that the show is not getting a second season.
I know, it'd
It's
be
like,
really nice to,
see
I
the
don't
other
know,
drop
explore
on
that in a season
idea,
2.
'cause, like, you don't just say that high concept idea and not pay that off. Like that needs to be paid off in a way that's like they're a singular consciousness. What does that even mean? It's perplexing. Save the Acolyte.
Save the Acolyte.
Have to.
Yeah, hashtag save the Acolyte.
Also, the way Star Wars is treating canon, this is all canon now.
Yeah.
So
It's real. This happened.
You got to deal with it. Like you got to deal with it.
You got to answer
You can't
that.
just leave it there.
And you can't just throw a novel at us. Like I'll read.
No.
I will. Don't
buy
get me
it.
wrong. I will read the Osha Chimere like romance novel. Like I will read it.
Uh-huh.
Like, don't get me wrong.
No.
I will read this book. And I will
Here's
sweat,
a
and I will feel
microcosm.
emotions, but give me a movie. Do something.
Here's a microcosm of what's going to happen. So I told Carly that's canceled. She was bummed.
But it's not canceled.
Not crazy.
It's not canceled.
Not
no,
the
no,
verbiage.
okay.
Yeah.
Allegedly discontinued.
This does not change. This does not change what happened in the past. What I said to my wife.
Sure. Okay.
I could have been.
Wow,
wrong.
Adam,
What I
you
said to her at the
canceled in your own
time.
household. That's concerning.
It has been not renewed for a second season. Is what I told her.
Allegedly.
And she was bummed.
Allegedly.
And I said, I said, God damn it. So basically, I feel like I'm on the flop house. So basically, what I told her is, I'm like, she's like, oh, I'll never know. I'm like, I'll know. Because I'll read the books and the comics and everything else, but you will never know. That is correct. You will never know what happens to these characters because they're not going to put it out in a consumable thing for most normal fans of Star Wars.
It's so funny because I do feel like there's a real craving to sort of push romance into Star Wars in a way that sort of exceeds the Leia Han stuff that we loved as in our youth. I get it. It was a great relationship that we highlight all the time. But yeah, it was really getting steamy. And it was really getting exciting. And it was really getting the pulse.
Getting horny.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that word again.
Yeah, and it's like
still part of the horny republic. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people want that, and I think a lot of people want to see that play out. And for them to take that away is just like, wow! Like, is this like you're catering to the incels of the internet right now? Is that what's happening?
It's a bad look. It's a bad look, Star Wars. If that's what's happening.
Yes, you're entering phase 3 of our podcast now, where we get a little looser, and the real just like raw emotions start coming.
Cycle back around.
Yeah. Like, thank you for sticking this long. We promise we have a very exciting draft.
I think we can get to it pretty much now. I will say the thing is that like, so Skier seems to have like somewhat gotten control of his Graxix, what it's called.
Yeah.
What is that? McGrack. Maybe it's unclear, but I've read over this comic 3 times. I'm still not 100% sure. Like, I don't think it was a ruse when he gave himself to Bullion, and then I think he then came back around, like he last second, kind of decided,
like fully go to the dark side to get the Force back. Like, one of the side effects is that he loses the Force. That's how he's able to control Nameless, yada yada. But and so he and Keeve were like, we're gonna get your Force powers back, and that's sort of how it ended. So that's one of their motivations. So. Yeah, but I agree with you, Adam. He did seem like he was going to sacrifice his friends for that for a hot minute.
Right?
Yeah. I was like, oh, he's going to do it. You're all dead. But
I thought Skier was going to kill everyone for a second there.
Yeah, a couple times.
Same.
That's kind of why he's so great. I mean, it's a little typecasting. The Trandoshan can't control himself, but it's awesome. It's kind of what you want, is the giant Trandoshan loose cannon Jedi that's just like, whoopsie daisy, did I just kill everybody? Yeah.
Right? But, I mean, it uses it to advantage in, like, taking out the Nameless, which is nice. But, just waiting for him to really...
Snapperoonie.
Great art, too, in these issues. I just really, really... And Kevin Scott, I mean, like, just delivering. Like, out of all the High Republic writers, like, it's, Kevin Scott, Justina Ireland... Charles Soule, Claudia Gray, like the talent is just astounding. I keep these creatives around for as long. And Daniel Jose Alder, Tessa Groton,
Speaking of which, we haven't covered High Republic Adventures in a long time either, and we should do that. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on that. We're getting close. Yeah, we're getting real close. Doing the real work out there.
What if I said there's more world building in the High Republic Adventures than any of the novels, junior novels, mainline, comic series? Like, the High Republic Adventures has entire pages of like maps, lightsaber construction diagrams. Like, I don't understand why they put all that world building in that series.
Maybe just because Older's
but I'm here for it.
Yeah, maybe Older's just about that life, and he's just like, I want a sprawling, large. Because love the High Republic, main run, but it's like feels like it's on rails.
He's also the first one to use Yoda, I think.
I think so. That was the main focus of Yoda. You guys brought up Adventures, so this is your fault for the side tangent. But we took our daughter on a boat cruise in Newport in Rhode Island, Newport Bay in Rhode Island. It was a historical thing. It was amazing. Could hear only a little bit of it, but he told a story about a pirate out of Newport named Buckets of Blood.
No way. Another Buckets of Blood?
Wow.
Yeah, so I was just sitting there going, like, I'm not going to tell Carly. I'm like, how long do I go off on? Like, is this like, did Jose Alder know Buckets of Blood? Like, it was just a weird thing. I'm just like, I just sat there like 10 minutes not listening to what he's saying.
Well, no, his whole story is that it was another ambulance driver or EMT.
Right, that's right.
Responder whose name
apparently, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
He got his name from the pirate.
Sure.
From the pirate. Anyway, just stay.
Maybe he's a learned man. Who knows?
Maybe.
We haven't seen Torben Buck in a minute.
I think
is he Torben too?
He is Torben, yeah.
Torben. He is Torben. Yeah.
I think he lives.
Yeah.
What's a Torben?
I think he survived.
I'm pretty sure they did rescue him. Yeah. I think in the first half of the Adventures, wasn't he part of that like prison ship? Didn't they get him out of there?
Wait, where was the story group on Torben Buck and then Indira Stokes? I mean, like, those names, like, it was very similar to the Acolyte, where I was just getting a little confused being a High Republic reader.
Pablo's getting a little edgy. There's a lot of Antilles. Like, they're like, why can't there be two people with the same last name? It's like, well, okay.
It's like Smith of the Galaxy.
Sure, sure. I don't care. It's just as a High Republic reader, I was a little confused at times.
Yeah, I know.
It's fine. Cool.
No one's paying it because no one's paying attention to what the comics are doing. I'm just saying.
That's upsetting to me. I feel like the comics are
fantastic.
A great medium. And
as we rush through.
Yeah, I don't have much to say on these ones. I mean, like the High Republic, I'm really waiting for sort of the Elzar Man, Avar Chris stuff to like have that Shakespearean end, and like
we're getting to the end game.
Then look at the entirety of all of this and say, was this worth it? And until then, it's sort of like I'm waiting for the full context, essentially.
I mean, based on the release slate of stuff like live action, next year might be the year of the High Republic, because there's not a ton of we're not going to cover a lot other
Andor,
than
probably
Andor season. Andor, and that's it. So we're gonna have a lot of time to fill with High Republic.
And I mean, hey, listen, it's a fantastic story, but you're right, Grant. It's like this is definitely the B team storytelling, and actually really C team, because it's kind of like novels, young adult novels, and then you've got this High Republic series main run. But they did capture Boolean, which is like, granted, he's like the third general in the triarch of like Marchion, Rose, Nihil generals, right? But he is one of he's second only to that. And you're right, like they're coming to Endgame, so it's like, why are we pussyfooting around with these side missions when it's like we want to know what happens at this point. We've been doing this for years, so. But I mean, if they caught Boolean, and it'd be great if in all these stories, all the characters sort of start crossing over into each other's.
It would be, because also I want more Boolean. What a weird,
he's so cool,
awesome character. Yeah. Like an Ithorian mad doctor. Yes. Like why doesn't he have his own movie? Give me that movie.
Right.
Okay. Well, I mean, we do have a fun. We have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
And that starts with a game that's releasing in under a week. This game is almost in our hands, and I couldn't be more excited. And we thought in anticipation of Star Wars Outlaws, we would do an Underworld Draft.
Yes.
And that means drafting a team of Underworld characters, and then we will. I think the scenario is that they will first battle in space, and then planetfall, and fight on the surface, and we will argue why our team should win that battle. And I think we agreed on that sort of being the context of why we're assembling this team and how they're all going to clash. And I think we're all going to go round robin and draft characters. And do you want to name the categories we have, Ben, while I pull out a dice for us?
Oh, yes. Very excited.
Oh, dice.
Very excited about this draft. I actually prepared like heck for this one, because I was like, oh man, I just wasn't like keyed into too many like Underworld characters. I don't know, for some that's like one demo that I'm like, I know the big ones and all that. So I had to do some research on this one.
I know, right? And there's not enough characters, and then I just sat there and thought for like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, there's so many characters.
So many characters.
Right? Like, yeah.
Oh yeah. Pages and pages. I went through Wikipedia. It's like, it's like near endless. Okay, so
all right.
Grant created the. I haven't done it yet. Sorry, buddy. Grant created the categories, and they're very much kind of your classic ensemble main names, and so we'll be creating our own ensemble. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories and a ship, which is kind of its own, its own thing. But so the categories are: you're going to need a leader, you're going to need muscle, you're going to need brains, you're going to need a marksman, marks person, you're going to need a pilot, and we added a droid in there, a droid category.
I thought we were going to leave droid. Did we decide on droid, or were we going to leave droid 7?
I think we killed droid and we kept ship.
Okay, we're killing droid.
I think droid.
Okay,
we're killing droid. Droid can be any of those categories.
Ship.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Ignore the droid part.
I can adjust. Trust me, I have droid. I have multiple droids. So if you want to add droid, I
was the one advocating for losing droid, and
all right.
But and then
we lost droid.
I didn't. We never made a decision, and I wasn't going to force the issue. So
let's not draft droid.
Okay.
How about let's not draft droid, and at the very end, if we want to draft droid, we can make a call at the end. If we want to add a category at the very end.
Okay.
All right.
Sweet. All right. So I guess
I'm gonna roll.
This is really important right now. This is really important. This
right,
draft
Ben,
order.
We're gonna
huge.
Ben, we'll roll you first here.
All right.
You are a 2.
Okay.
Oh, D20.
What is it? D?
Adam, you are a 20.
Oh. So The math continues. I am.
You're D20 all the time, Adam. You need to play the lottery.
I'm D20.
It'll be Adam, me, Ben.
Adam,
All
you
right.
need to play the lottery, but just like roll a 20 cube to like pick your like.
Right. That's a really good point. I should do that. All right. So I'm going to start with the muscle.
Okay.
And
muscle.
For the muscle, I am going to play Black Chrysanthemum.
Ooh, okay, taking him off
For
the
muscle, that's a good pick.
Good muscle. I had him on my list.
Grant, I don't think so. It happened, but here we go.
Grant, do you see the action figure in frame?
Okay. Oh wow. Oh, epic. Sweet. Okay. Black Chrysanthemum.
Is Adam gonna have action figures for his whole like squad?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough because we're gonna have to pick muscle that's gonna have to counter that, and Black Chrysanthemum has proven to be quite strong. Okay, I am going to pick in the leader category right away.
All right.
Yeah.
Big choice here,
I wanted to
Grant.
pick this character, but you guys, no one went leader right away, so I think I'm gonna pick Maul.
Whoa!
Maul?
I love it.
I like it.
For my leader. Yeah, I get a force sensitive. I get
That's
a
really
ruthless, a killer. I get so much with that pick.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Maul for leader. Yep.
That is great, man. You know, I thought about doing like a dark side Underworld team.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it'd be so OP.
I mean, after we read the comics, it feels fitting.
I mean, he's real, and a leader. You could put Maul in a bunch of places, but I do agree. Leader would be the
leader
one. All right, I'm just gonna go take a little guy named Lando Calrissian.
Oh,
yeah, good.
Ooh, the heroic team gathering over there. Okay,
so Lando can go over here.
Ooh, okay. So
Lando's out of my pile.
Sorry.
These picks.
That's all right. I figured he would go quick.
I'm taking Lando. He's gonna be my leader because I feel like he
rolls leader. Okay.
Yeah. He can
like
control
leader.
team, and he's slick and he's got some luck on his side. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good pick.
What are we doing? Are we doing Snake or is it back to me?
Back to you, buddy.
Either way, it's fine.
Back to you.
All right, so I'm gonna go with brains.
Brains second.
For the brains of the operation.
Ooh,
Dr. Aphra.
Good pick.
Adam, it's so funny.
Problem is,
I have a draft that's like all of those characters. Like I did one lane where I was like, oh, this would just be such a like awesome team.
Yeah.
And dude, Aphra, she's got the brains for sure.
She does.
And she's
I
got
had
the
Aphra in my leader category, which was I had Kira and Aphra, in my leader category.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Sana Staros actually is the leader with Aphra as the brains.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah. Archaeologist extraordinaire and tech expert.
Are we? Am I to pick now?
I knew I would have to pick it early.
Yeah, I think you're up.
Adam was definitely.
So I think I have to go muscle right now because I think Ben could swoop in and take some big strong pieces off the board, and I think I'm gonna go Dirge for muscle.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Dirge.
I'm gonna try to really
on the Dirge card.
Power through this all. Yeah.
Grant, I love that. No,
I'm dirging.
It's so funny because like that was the other, like that was my dark side one. Like Dirge was gonna be the muscle on that bad boy.
I like Dirge.
Yeah,
I like Dirge.
Like I honestly don't know how I'm losing at this point.
You're not. You got a lot of power going.
You're good. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. If people don't know what Dirge is, he's essentially like an unkillable species in armor that likes to ride motorcycles and lance like a
Dirge for muscle. Adam, so you did brains for Aphra? Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, Aphra's brains. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, I'm gonna pick a pilot. Actually, this was one of the ones. I guess there's a ton, but I really wanted this pilot really bad. And I thought he'd go quick because he fits in a lot of categories. I'm a lot like Bill Belichick. I draft for positional flexibility. That's kind of how I roll.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'll take your word on that's a thing.
Yeah.
Is he still around? All right. Keep going.
Well, he's an on-air personality. He might coach next year.
Oh my God! He must be like, oh, I can't imagine the personality dripping off that man on air.
He is a great sense of humor. A lot of people don't know that. I'm taking Chewbacca.
I actually could buy that.
Chewbacca.
Oh, there you go, Chewie. Yeah, I had Chewie. I was thinking about Chewie as well, but I really don't have a Chewie action figure, or else I could have gone like double Wookiee on mine.
Interesting.
Yeah, because like double. I thought about double Wookiee, but like these people have to get along. By the way, I'm just saying.
That's true.
So
far, they work well together.
Yeah, but I just think I love Chewie as a pilot because he's a pilot, he's a mechanic, he's a brute, like he's a heavy, like he does all of that.
Yeah, he's a heavy.
Yeah,
you're right. He's got.
It's really good. He's like he can multiple roles.
And I feel like he's a way underrated pilot. Like Han Solo gets
the
credit,
last Jedi
but
definitely
like
changed the formula.
I think it's all about. the Wookiee.
It's all about the Wookiee.
Did you guys do it all for the Wookiee?
We did it all for the Wookiee.
I just actually stumbled into that one. All right.
That's tough.
I said it. I'm like, oh god, here comes Limp Bizkit.
Yep.
That's incredibly tough. Yeah. And
all right. Is it back to me?
Back to you.
Back to you. Yeah.
Limp Bizkit's back. I heard they were like playing a show at some weird festival.
Yeah. And what's his name looks like Jack. Actually, he looks like Jerry Garcia now.
Does he?
The lead singer.
Who's also a director. He's directed like multiple
Fred Durst.
Fred Durst.
Yeah.
There you go. He's also directed like multiple main movies, including like kids movies.
Yeah, he's
weird
a Hollywood
dude.
mogul. He's one of those guys on the down low that sort of never left Hollywood and has had his fingers in a lot of
he's
pies.
just like, I'm just gonna direct now. All right, so 4 by Marksman. IG-88.
Okay.
Oh, good pick. Good pick.
You can't go wrong with a droid for a marksman, right? Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, there's some computing.
He can
going
like
on.
360 shoot. We've seen that.
Yeah.
We've seen that used in
IG-11.
The Mandalorian, right? At IG-11. So, yep.
Yeah, he's a beast.
All right.
All right. I think. Oh man. I think I'm gonna have to go pilot because I just don't think there's that many, and I wonder where you guys are at with your lists of pilots. But I'm gonna pick Q90 from The Mandalorian Episode 6, The Prisoners, or The Prison, whatever that one is called. Yeah, I think that droid pilot in that episode is just like impeccable. Like the skills are just incredible in that episode. So that character will be helming the ship that I choose.
He was definitely on my list too, but I didn't use him because I was worried about canon sort of breaking. Like I need to have some aesthetics to my group, like they could all exist in the same timeline. But Q90,
he's kind of villainous. He fits better in my group, I think, because he's a little bit more nefarious, right, as a droid. Yeah.
Right, and they don't need another personality behind the wheel. They just need someone to execute, and that's
I'm looking to execute. Yeah. Yep.
I love that, and it's a droid, so Q90 could have been 100 years old in The Mandalorian. So
yeah,
so it's
voiced by Richard Ayoade of IT Crowd, who's just one of my favorite actors of all time.
Fantastic.
He's so good and like one of the best panel show contestants on British television.
Yeah, that voice, it will break up the whole Maul dirge silence. It'll like, I just need some fun personality going on at this point.
Man, all right. I had a strategy and I'm sticking to it, even though you guys are totally surprising me. Totally surprising. Even though Adam, I guess not so much. I knew you were going to take Afra, but
yeah, I mean that's fair. We knew that was going to happen. But let's just wait till my next two picks.
Adam doesn't have a leader yet, though. That'll be the big
leader's
shift.
going last. What do you think about that?
Mind blown.
I thought they would be taken pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. Well, now it's like technically you only need 3, right? So, there's 2 off the board, and you get the rest of the board. I mean, gotta like those odds.
I do, but remember, I have to have a figure of them. So
right. Oh, I guess.
Do you want can I choose 5?
Wait,
can I choose?
To have the figure? Wow. Okay.
I do. That's right. Can I choose 5 Obi-Wans? Because I have 5 Obi-Wans over here. I could do.
He did spend some time in the Underworld, but you need the figure of him in like that weird suit, like armor suit that he had.
Yeah.
Or the helmet.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. With that.
I'll show you my backups that I didn't choose when I'm done.
Yeah. When we're done, I can't wait to.
I literally have a pile of figures over here that I'm selecting from.
Oh, that's so fun. I wish they made that Obi-Wan though. That would be sick.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that's a great figure.
Yeah.
That'd be a great figure.
We have to start petitioning Hasbro because they actually listen.
Yeah,
to that.
They do that. Like that's how my last command set came together. It was like fund it and they'll do it.
Okay. I'm just fearful you're gonna take this person though. I guess probably no one will, but I'm taking him now because he is my heart.
I won't.
And he is my brains. Lobot.
Lobot. Yeah, Lobot was
Is
all you.
Lobot Underworld?
Yes, I would say Lobot
He's
counts as
been
Underworld.
by
He's been
Calrissian side
Yeah, I guess
through
he's been
all-
because
like
you have
augmented
Lando already on your.
underground markers.
Do you have Lando on your team?
I sure do.
Yeah, so that's fine. I would say it counts because Lando would talk him into it. So
yeah,
you're
he'd
good.
be like, "I'm counting you in," and he's like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, weep, behold,
All right.
What
My
what
pick and
category is that again, Ben?
brains.
What are you doing? Brains.
Brains.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. I like it.
I mean, it's
You
not
really
like Afra actually has brains and he's got a computer for a
No,
brain.
but he's got a computer brain, but same thing.
Yeah.
It's he
Yeah.
has all the same information. He can just process faster.
Yeah, and I mean, we did
Yeah.
learn in the most recent Star Wars he is Lando's heart as well. So there's a
That's
little
true.
positional flexibility there.
Yeah.
Back to you, Adam.
All right. So I'm going to go with pilot. And so I have a solid pilot, but also I think any good team needs a bit of comic relief.
9-0.
So we're going Jackson.
Oh, I see. This is. I knew you were gonna take Jackson. This is the character, Adam. This was the character. I said on text, Adam's gonna take a character early in the draft, and I won't get a chance to take him, and it's Jackson.
Sorry,
I knew
Jackson.
we were-
Yep. Jackson is recanonized, so it counts. He's there. So there we go. I got Jackson for my pilot.
That's dual purpose too, because he's pretty good with his blasters, right?
He's pretty good.
Okay.
He's a bounty hunter. He may not be the best pilot in the world, so I don't know how he'll come out on the first round
we'll
of this
see
thing.
what ship
But we'll
you
see.
get.
So
We'll see.
Yeah. I think my next pick's going to shut down all your picks altogether, though, and that is in the marksman category. I cannot believe this character is still there. I will be taking Fennec Shan.
Yeah. All right.
I cannot believe that character is
that's a
there.
great pick.
It's literally, I think, top marksman of all the Underworld characters.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't have a figure.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's up there. She's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy to hear someone better.
I mean, I
don't think there is.
I was gonna pick her, but you know, I guess she's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
I
it's a
love
contract,
that pick.
right?
If
She's here for a specific contract, and she may not have the same moral alignment as your Mauls and your Dirges, but I do
She's
feel
morally
like
flexible.
She's
morally
malleable.
flexible.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, because I thought you guys would fight me
100%.
on that later.
No, no, I don't think she starts out because she worked for the Empire, right? Didn't she start
Exactly.
out?
Yeah.
So she's
Yeah, and I mean, like
Yeah,
Boba
okay.
Fett, like brought her into his like Gotra, but like she would have been fine just being like she was like, okay, whatever, you know, she would have been fine. I think being a mercenary the rest of her life.
for sure.
She's slowly becoming a more heroic character, I think, in the broader canon. But but this is early Fennec. Again, you can pick these characters from any point in the timeline, essentially. And so, like Ben, you could have picked L3 instead of Lobot. Like, there's other, you know what I mean? But Lobot is essentially just just, you know, I would, you know,
He's a facilitator.
just as interesting as a pick, right?
Yeah.
And so,
But I mean, I like the idea of you know, of Lando and Lobot working together again.
Right.
But all right, so after all that talk about team unity, I think I'm gonna go. Maybe I should. I was gonna pick marksman here. I'm gonna pick Aura Singh.
That's a good second. That's a good,
Nice.
quite possibly the next best
Yeah.
marksman. Or you know,
I mean,
when we argue it out, I think possibly.
I
similar.
feel like that's the one where they both shoot their rifles at each other's hands at the same time. Like they're
They
Yeah.
both go down each other's barrels.
Maybe they,
And
maybe
IG8
they
is IG88 shooting 18 million blaster bolts while you guys are taking one shot.
I
But
do
we'll see
feel
how
like
it
any
goes.
team that selects IG88 and then IG11 back to back wins,
Two of them
by default.
yeah.
Given that you just
I wish
see
I had an
those action
IG11.
sequences, and it's
just
just
a
like
bullet
game
storm.
over. Anyone. Yeah.
They did have. I didn't see it in person because I could only buy my action figures mostly in person unless there's like a real, like special one, like the Last Command. But like they did have the IG11 with Grogu in it,
Yeah,
which would have been a
That's
fun pick.
awesome.
that would have been a fun pick.
All right, so I'm gonna finish out my thing with my leader, and we're gonna have a bit of a discussion because we talked whether or not I can pick old EU or not, and part of the discussion was whether or not fans would know who this character was, and my argument is that fans would definitely know who this character is.
All right,
So my leader is Mara Jade.
Mara Jade.
Jade.
Yeah,
Wow.
Okay.
Yep.
This is our first
Worked
EU
with-
character in the draft here.
Yep. Worked with pirates for a long part of her career. That's where she got her start after becoming the hand of the Emperor. She moved over to being the pirates, leader of the pirates. She's very much versed in the underworld. Doesn't hurt that she's also force sensitive, but I think
we are kind of leaving you in the dust here, Ben. We have two just force sensitive warriors on our teams that are basically like entering muscle category, they're basically huge different.
All right, how are they going to use their lightsabers in space?
I mean,
they'll find a way.
We'll find a way.
We just read the Maul series where he uses his lightsaber in countless.
She could throw it out the airlock and force it over.
Right.
It's tough.
Good luck with that.
Okay, I cannot believe we're taking this long to get to ships, which is just it's crazy. No one's just taking a ship right off the bat, which is, I think that might be the big piece on our board essentially at the end of this. But I'm gonna have to jump into brains. I think I'm gonna pick DJ from The Last Jedi.
Oh, that's good for
brains.
brains.
Wow.
I like it.
Okay.
I think he is going to create the best odds for our group to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully he doesn't act selfishly and just serve himself. But
good luck with that.
I'm hoping that he may at the end of the day, but he may put my team in a very good spot.
Yeah.
And so I am going to pick DJ as my brains. I did have Afra at the top of this list, but I'm going to do DJ. Yeah.
Wow.
And Jabba the Hutt, I don't think you would have the synergy. So
Jabba was a thought too, even before I was doing it. But I was like ruling it out. I'm like, what's he gonna do?
Who's more selfish, DJ or Jabba? I thought Jabba would be, and so I just DJ. Yeah.
Wow. All right. I guess you guys are gonna make me change my. I'm gonna have to pivot here because you're talking trash, and I have an answer for that.
Oh no! Were you gonna go Jabba?
No,
Jabba.
No. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm outside of your conversation. That's very.
All right. You're like metagaming it. All right. Yeah.
Do you have a lightsaber on your team? I'm just wondering.
Well, after I pick Asajj Ventress, yeah, I do.
Oh,
that's a great pick.
That's
a really good pick. I was waiting for Asajj to be. Yeah.
What's this category though? What's the category here?
It is my heavy, my muscle.
Your muscle.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. That's a good muscle.
Pick.
That's a good muscle.
A good pick.
And you know what? In my dark side draft though, she was my leader.
That's a great pick as well.
I could see that too. Yep,
Yeah.
she kind of can go
That's
between.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But I mean, if she's there on the board and I still need muscle, and I really am gonna lament not having my other person. But you're right. If there's gonna be a force battle, I gotta show up. So that's it.
That's a great pick. You just stayed in the game here. That's great.
So we still got ships to do. How do we feel about droids? Do we want to leave droids separate? I mean, I got a droid.
I got a
Ray,
droid.
You got a droid.
Yeah.
Does anyone want a second droid? Ben, do you want a droid? Do you know? I mean, you got Lobot, which is kind of half droid.
Half droid. I mean,
do you want to split the Afro droids, Adam? Because I'm happy to add droid as a category. And then
can I pick 000?
Yeah, I was gonna say like 000.
Well, I think you have.
I think we're all
have
gonna
ship. I think we all had.
Let's do ship. Yeah, let's do ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, back to you, buddy.
Is it to me?
Yeah. Top of the board. Not a snake
sure,
draft. Maybe. Why didn't you do a snake draft on this one, by the one? Because you're
wait. Can we just acknowledge that Django and Boba
I was waiting
Fett
for someone to say snake draft when they did. I'm like, all right, I'll keep going.
It's unbelievable to me that Boba Fett and Jango Fett were not chosen.
So I was gonna say no Fets.
So Fett fire spray synergy is just not there for any of us right now. So we're gonna
he was on my list in like 3 different categories, like Boba Fett, not Django because again, canon, whatever.
I think we know what ship Ben is picking.
Yeah, I mean, so
yes.
Okay.
Well, so
I know. I know what
taking-
you're thinking, but the answer is no. I'm not picking it.
Wow, but like synergy, that might be the best pick.
Well, listen, I have a very broad capability for synergy. A broad knowledge.
Okay.
I know what's up. And
you do have a lot of different ships that are out
listen,
there, so,
it may not be the most obvious choice, but it will be the best choice.
Okay. All right. I'm perplexed. I'm excited. Let's Adam, you got one?
So no Fets have been chosen, but boy, am I going to steal their ship immediately, and I'm taking the fire spray.
Okay.
I'm taking Slave 1, the fire spray, whatever
Nice.
it's called. I'm taking it. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
You have to rip that from Boba's cold, dead hands before you can get it. But
Yeah, that's tough. You might.
I think that's
there
easy.
There might be a prelude before we fight here, where Adam's team is going against Boba Fett.
This guy knocks him out while he's in his regenerative pod and steals his ship.
Jackson Rabbit actually foils Boba Fett. I actually could see that happening.
That was actually a good backstory for end of a comic. A little 3-pager. Yeah.
He doesn't even see it coming, and he's like, "Really, a bunny stole my ship?"
Yep.
I feel like my
ultimate insult.
My ship's gonna be the weirdest pick here.
I love
it. Okay. I have 2 picks here, and it could go either way, but I think the one vessel is more of a leisure craft, and I think the other one might have more surface cannons.
All right.
So I'm going to pick Crimson Dawn's Vermilion cruiser.
Oh my gosh.
A light cruiser, I believe.
Okay.
It's Kira's flagship from the main comic series.
It's huge. It's a pleasure yacht.
I'm sorry. I meant to choose an Imperial Super Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No. I think it's a light cruiser. I don't think it's a full on.
I think you're fine. I think you're.
I think you're fine. I like
fine.
my chances against your
Dryden Voss's first light is a little bit more of a yacht kind of experience. It's more of a leisure craft. Whereas I think the Vermilion, I think we saw it do combat. I think it entered the fray in those
in the comics in the Crimson Rain.
It's also extremely spacious. It's a very large ship. I think it is also it can go through combat as well.
Yeah.
Listen, so you're gonna have the most comfortable team for sure.
It's true.
Yes, I will have the Vermilion.
I mean, you have like a whole like you're always hanging out in Dryden Voss's like penthouse in that thing.
Well, I mean, if Maul is running Crimson Dawn and he's bringing this team together, I think
I like it.
A complete, a safe and canonical sort of approach here, where maybe the Vermilion or the equivalent of is in Crimson Dawn's arsenal, and when Maul's in charge.
As a side note, I may have spent this afternoon seeing if I ordered Dryden Voss online, if I could have it delivered today before the podcast.
Oh, that's a great pick, right? I almost picked Dryden for leader.
That was a no-go. So
would have been good
no Dryden
brains,
Voss on my
actually.
team. Yeah, he would have been
good too.
brain or leader. Yeah,
muscle leader.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff there. Well, unfortunately for you both, I'm gonna pick an actual space killer, and I'm gonna pick the Sith infiltrator known as the Scimitar.
Wait, hold on.
Wait, you taking my ship right now? Are you taking my ship?
I am.
How
You should have picked it. Why didn't you pick it?
I have a
How
question.
many people can fit in that ship?
Yes,
I'm so glad you asked.
To the outside?
7. I counted the seats. There is a pilot chair, and there are 6 seats, maybe 5.
Are you serious?
But still, that's enough. Yes.
All right, it's allowed. That's wild. I never would have thought.
Is it an underworld ship?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's.
Yes.
I would count.
I would say it's a clandestine Sith infiltrator.
Yes, but it was captured by a 066, a droid that was supposed to just be managing it when it was trying. It was attempted to be stolen by Nath in one of the Vader series, but she was a bounty hunter that was trying to steal the ship. She was working with the droid, but the droid just took the ship and was like, "No, it means too much to me." And that's
you just gave my team their motivation to get this thing back, and so you have some serious aggressors coming your way to reclaim that ship.
Good luck finding me. I have a little blurb here. The Sith infiltrator featured folding wings around its spherical cockpit and was secretly modified from a Star Courier manufactured by Republic.
Star Courier?
Yep.
Like a ship that's just transporting.
Yep.
Like a mail truck?
Yep.
You're a mail truck. Okay.
Stand by. Modified from a Star Courier manufactured by Republic Sonar Systems. It was suspected that the Scimitar was designed by the Sith Lord Darth Tenebris. Sith Bith.
What? Wait, you're having the Sith Bith?
Now we're.
You get +5 to all damage.
The craft.
Sith Bith synergy.
Let me continue. The craft featured 6 laser cannons, a proton torpedo launcher, and a mine layer. Along with its deadly armament, the Scimitar was equipped with a cloaking device powered by rare Stygium crystals from the planet Aten that allowed it to disappear from view and any pursuing ship sensors. Owning to the craft's experimental ion engines, radiator fins on the ship's wings were required to open during flight during spell access. The ship carried 3 DRK-1 Dark Eye probe droids and the Blood Fin, a Sith speeder utilized by Darth Maul during his mission on Tatooine. The scimitar was capable of tracking a ship's signature through hyperspace, something considered impossible for other ships.
Hey, I've seen episode 8. That's not possible.
But they didn't know about the scimitar, baby.
No, I know. Yeah. No, I will allow it. If I knew it, I mean, I would not have picked it. But my biggest question was, how many seats does that thing have?
Yep.
And it has enough.
It's
so
bigger than it looks from the inside.
More power to you.
Yeah.
So while you guys blast each other to bits, I'm gonna hang out. And then I'm going to just start dropping sonic mines, and that should take care of anyone.
So let's game this out. You get one sonic mine, and you won't even see me coming.
Do it. Okay, now I got to Google how many sonic mines can fit on the thing. I'm like,
so
you just mean like one before you get me? Is that what you're saying?
I guess. Yeah. I mean, it won't even take
for
one.
The
you're
listeners,
not going to see
can
me
we
coming.
just list our teams again? Do you guys want to just list our teams again for the listeners?
I mean, you just look at mine.
I have them.
But no, I will.
I have them right here. I will list them off. All right. Adam's team is...
Well, let's just do yours. Ben.
Okay.
We'll all do our own.
I can do.
Go for it.
Okay, we'll do our own. I have leader Lando, Chewbacca as the pilot, Lobot as the brains, Aura Singh as the sharpshooter, and Asajj Ventress as the muscle, and they will be cozily riding along in the scimitar and in wake of its death.
Okay.
All right, I got Mara Jade as the leader, Black Chrysanthemum as the muscle. I've got why am
Afra
I
as the
blanking
brains.
on her name? Afra as the brains. Thank you. 4 beers deep. IG-88 as the marksman, and Jackson as the pilots, and they're all going to be flying in Boba Fett's fire spray.
That's fantastic. I have my leader is Maul, as in AKA Darth Maul. Dirge is the muscle. DJ is my brains. Q90 from The Mandalorian, episode 6, season 1, episode 6, is my pilot. Fennec Shand is my marksman, and they will all be in the Vermilion, the fortress flagship of Crimson Dawn. Okay, so let's game this out. All these ships meet in space, or don't meet in space if one's cloaked. I don't know what tricks Ben's pulling right away.
Well,
but
we can start. You can see me at first, and then you won't.
Can I just start with the classification of my ship? A fortress flagship.
What's the firepower?
Fortress.
Your big slow target, as far as
I'm holding auctions, numerous guards in the interior.
It's big.
And there's got to be surface cannons.
There is definitely cannons on it.
Yes.
Mara Jade would immediately radio over to Ben's team and say, "Can we just? How about we team up, take this thing out?"
Yeah.
And then we'll see who's left standing after that. And,
do you agree with that?
And also, please turn off your cloaking device.
Yeah.
Wait. So how are your transponder going through? I mean, I imagine the Ben has to pick up on his line.
A Lobot can hear.
I
your
think
thoughts.
you hear. I think if you hear me transmitting, because I'm transmitting it to everyone, you can hear me, Grant. I don't.
Are
care.
you guys teaming up on the Vermilion?
100 against the Flying Fortress? Yeah.
I want to say like it's kind of lightly defended, but it's not. I remember it almost made it through a blockade of like Star Destroyers.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Right? It kind of
it
got
did
into the
get
fray at one point,
destroyed, and they knew they were going to lose it, but it like kind of held its own for a few minutes. So
yeah, it's a big meaty thing. Like it's a
again, guys.
boy,
it's adorable that you're trying to say that this is going to be a competition, but if you can't see me, you can't hit me. And you have
do you know what my team's going to do? My team is going to ask DJ what to do. You know what DJ is going to tell us to do? Is we should
Run
just
away.
crash the ship.
Yeah.
No, we're going to crash the ship. And we're going to bring this right to the ground. I want to settle this on the ground as soon as possible with all of you. And so we're going to crash the ship and appear weak. And we're going to appear weak and say that all of our crew has died and there's fires and there's treasure aboard. And we're going to try to incentivize you guys to fight each other without knowing you don't know the full, who's present on the ship.
All right.
And I'm going to keep that everyone that I've named on my team is not there. And that it's simply just a Crimson Dawn flagship filled with lucrative treasure, like possibly a frozen Han Solo.
I mean, since we're not fully role playing this, I like dice and everything else. I will seed this to the scimitar. To be honest, because like what I would be doing if we're fully role playing is I would drop a bomb, drop a couple sonic bombs, hope that I disrupt you, but like we can't do it because we're not fully role playing, right? Like we're not actually rolling a d20.
No. So I mean, Battlefront 2, I've had this dogfight between the scimitar and the
can't imagine
Slave 1 a million times, and it doesn't go well for Slave 1.
I would.
Not on your sensors. You don't even know where the bolts are coming from.
I mean, I know you're there.
You can drop a Hail Mary bomb, like
that's all I would be doing.
Yeah, like every once in a while you can do that, but
I agree.
If you don't know what direction you're getting shot at from, it's hard.
No, you can't do anything. Yeah, I can see. So, if you're cloaked, and you can, and unlike Star Wars or Star Trek, you can fire when you're cloaked.
Yes. Oh.
Okay, then I concede.
Oh, really good question. I don't think I can actually. I can't fire when I'm cloaked.
So so knowing that there's lucrative treasure aboard the Vermilion, are your teams landing gracefully and trying to obtain that?
I mean, I'm probably shooting at you the whole way down, mostly pointing at Dirge.
No, you don't know who's aboard the ship. I mean, theoretically, right? Like it's more of just you're coming across a giant light cruiser.
Yeah, landing
and taking it down, knowing there's riches aboard.
Right. Sure.
I'm crashing it. At this point, I'm crashing it, and I want it to look like my ship has totally lost that space battle. So Ben takes it in space. I think we can agree there.
Yeah, I'm willing.
The fire spray won't be able to locate the target. So let's go to the ground. 100%. Let's talk the ground battle here. All teams assemble. You know, a sort of like Western standoff. My team, after you guys become vulnerable, leave your ships. We all stand face to face. Let's just look at the combat prowess of these teams right now.
All right. I mean, so you've got Maul, Dirge, and Fennec. Q90 is useless. DJ is useless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take the DJ hit. hit.
Q90 was taken out by a child.
And I'll take Q90. I think Q90 and DJ are not helping me on the ground.
They're not helping you on the ground.
So I think I lose points there. But I will stand by Maul, Dirge, Fennec being just elite. Almost unrivaled categories. Yeah.
Dirge is tough because he kind of never dies. You know, it's like
no, but he can kind of be blasted enough that he is subdued.
He's tough.
He's tough. Dirge is tough. That's like a wild card. That's
so give me a counter to my my 3 combat rolls.
So I mean, I got 3 people who are adept with blasters. We got Blacker Santange, Jackson, and IG-88. Jackson is a bounty hunter. We got IG-88 who has multiple things. We have another person who's really good with blasters and a lightsaber, and we've got a brain who probably has some dark arcane
abilities.
Some ability, some kind of artifact that she could use to her.
I will let your Afra cancel out my Maul or my Dirge because I feel like she would find some trick to use.
All right. I mean, I think that's overly generous, but I'll take it.
Handicap one of them, you know. I mean, like
maybe a little bit. Yeah,
one of them is unable to maybe exhibit their full strength. Adam, I mean, Ben, I just don't. What are you doing on the ground? Oh, Asajj.
Well, so Asajj is the vanguard, and she's backed up by Lando Calrissian, Chewbacca, and Aurra Sing. And Lobot is tinkering. He's figuring out.
I didn't account for Aurra Sing.
So like 3 great shooters.
It's a pretty balanced team.
And a Jedi that's. I mean, we have to assume from this period that this is like yellow lightsaber. Asajj Ventress. So, which we don't know tons about, but we saw her in Bad Batch, and
but adept. I mean, she's survived this entire time.
So can we go Force sensitives first here?
Good. She's held her own against.
I'd say she's like I would say she's on the same level as Mara Jade. To be honest, probably.
Can we power rank the 3 Force users right now? Mara Jade, Asajj Ventress, and Maul, and just pick the winner of that.
I mean, I would put Maul at the top for sure.
I think Mara Jade. It's hard to speak
because
to Mara
there was
Jade,
an evolution of Mara Jade, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
But she was never like an amazing. I don't know. I would put Maul at the top.
Yeah, I think Maul.
I think Maul's.
I probably agree with that, but I will say Asajj Ventress consistently fought Obi-Wan and Anakin at the same time and held her own.
Yeah,
she got driven off a bunch, but she didn't die.
Did she kill a Jedi Master though?
Did Maul?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon.
Oh, Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
So I think.
I mean, she
I
killed
think
a lot of Jedi. But not Obi-Wan.
I'm fine with. I would argue it's Maul, Asajj.
I think I'm going to take L's in other categories. So I think I get the Force.
I
Please
agree.
give it.
I'm just trying to make my case for my girl.
Asajj, Mara, Maul are out. I'll take +1. You already won in space, Ben. I'll take +1 here, but let's keep gaming this out. Let's go muscle.
Oof. Okay. Well, all right, but so technically my muscle was my person was Asajj.
Oh, okay.
But
so your muscles.
I can, but I mean, I did.
Well, Chewbacca's a secondary muscle for you.
Yeah,
in a lot of
Chewbacca
ways.
would be my secondary. Probably.
Yeah, and piloting is not needed anymore. He basically converts to a muscle.
So that would be like Chewbacca, Dirge, and
Chrysantan.
Okay, I would also watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I have that now, please?
Right now.
Yeah. I would probably rank that Dirge, Chrysantan, Chewbacca.
I would too. Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Okay,
yeah.
That's +2 for me.
Yeah.
Let's go to Marksman.
This one's tough.
Yeah, I don't know that Fennec is markedly better than Aurra Sing. She lived longer.
Either. Aurra Sing does miss those pod racers, though, doesn't she?
She doesn't fire at anybody there. She's just a. She's.
Oh, okay.
She's
just there.
Okay.
She didn't actually.
The Tuskens.
Yeah.
Tuskens.
I'm sorry about that.
I mean, and let's not forget, IG-88's got a droid brain, multiple shooting things, not just one shot.
Long range? That's the one.
Yeah,
thing I wouldn't have picked a droid.
You don't think he has telescoping? He has a long. He has a long rifle. He's carrying a long rifle.
Sniper is a way of mind. Is a way of life.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess, but he doesn't have to control his breathing because he doesn't breathe.
I'd still put him third, and I mean, flip a coin on Aurra Sing and Fennec. Honestly, I don't know.
I would. Okay. Do you want my?
It doesn't matter. We're.
I feel like my honest opinion is I think
immediately. So
we've only seen one of these actually snipe in anything, and that's Fennec Shan.
I mean, we've seen,
and she's quite.
We just read a comic with Aurra Sing where she was sniping people. And then have pretty handy and
right,
she is really good.
All right, I forgot about the comic.
She's very good.
All right,
yeah.
So I'm fine.
I will offer that Adam's IG-88's taken out, but I think we trade Ben. I think Aurra and Fennec maybe they cancel each other.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, I think that's fair.
I lose these next two categories. So how is our brains like fighting on the battlefield down here? I think DJ's last place here.
I mean, my one has the dark knowledge or whatever. I feel like she wins it through.
Yeah. I think so too.
Knowledge of dark side.
I'd like to think Lobot could hold his own against, but I don't think so because she's fully sentient and he's like really just holding on.
If there's like a slap fight, he'd probably win.
I don't know though.
Afra's gonna have some like ascendant technology, or she's gonna have something up her sleeve.
That's the only reason I would argue that.
They're both kind of androids, right? They she has her tattoos, but like his whole mind is like, woven.
But we never really use Force. I mean, we see Dr. Aphra actually use her blaster from time to time.
And as far as battle planning goes, I think Aphra is the person you want there.
Yeah, I think Aphra will understand that Lobot has limitations and that he thinks, in binary essentially, and she can kind of think in. She's a freak genius. Like she's just gonna, I think, beat that category. So she's good on the ground. Adam will get a +1 there. Final category, pilot. I don't think Q90 is doing anything for me here, and so I think I probably lose this category for sure.
Yeah, who's your pilot, Ben?
It's Chewbacca.
Chewie, but you already had Chewie as your muscle.
Well, I guess I can put Lando there.
So who do you have?
Lando there could go in there because you wanted to swap in Chewie for the muscle fight because that's what would happen, right? I
guess. I mean, it's just sort of it's all.
Well, Lando just one shots Q90, and then Adam, your pilot is Jackson. Is that right?
Yeah. He was also a bounty hunter.
I still like Lando.
I like Lando over Jackson. I think Jackson just.
All right, I think you guys are
I don't
completely
know.
underestimating who Jackson is, but fine, I'll take it.
I'm
It's
pretty
fine.
sure
You're just
I'm pretty
biased
sure in the comics,
towards Lando.
like it was Lando that catches Jackson. But okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
In the
didn't
original
he
Marvel
end
run?
up getting captured by Lando? I don't know. I just remember
think
it was
so.
on the last time we saw him was in Bespin.
I
so.
do have to say, Jackson. Jackson's wielding 2 blasters.
Yeah, he's
Whereas
actually a
Lando's
bounty hunter
wielding
who actually
one
uses.
blaster.
Yeah.
He actually uses weapons a lot, and Lando uses his mouth.
Oh please. Well, I mean, I guess I've only played about 2,000 hours of Lando.
No,
in the
but no. Take your battlefield
Lando-
and you know
Lando
where you can put it.
Lando
Ben's
can
like,
shoot.
In a
Battlefield-
game
Battlefront 2.
in a game that you constantly argue stinks because it's non-canon. Like it doesn't
It
deal
is
with canon
canon.
rules.
I
Come
mean,
on.
there's
We don't
books written
have
about
any
No,
it.
it's
real
not.
comps for understanding how they would interact.
I still
but
like Lando against him.
We just like Lando.
I
Jackson
like
would
Lando
No,
to
he's an
that.
excellent fighter, and he's slipperier than
No,
anybody.
it's not.
I think 2 blasters beat 1, Ben.
Oh.
It just if Jackson the action figure didn't come with 2 blasters, I would say Lando has us in the bag.
Yeah.
And
but
a rifle.
He seems to be a quite lethal character.
He is
The
more
way he's been
badass than people give him credit
recanonized, or however he's been
He can
sort of.
jump. He can hop really high.
He's got.
for.
I don't
Justice
know.
for Jackson.
Yeah, we don't know his physical attributes, what he can do.
He can jump really high.
I think 2 blasters beat 1. Sadly,
Oof. All right. Entirely disagree. You guys are totally underselling. What an excellent
I still
fighter.
beat you guys in
General.
3 categories, so it's not a big deal. But I did lose those last 2.
He's great at
categories.
space battle.
I think. I mean, we probably, to be fair, should have gone roll against roll, but okay.
But you know what I think we're going to do is we're going to take in sort of the thoughts of our listeners and talk to people we know in the office who listens to the podcast.
Hold on.
And we'll let the listeners decide. And then next week we will maybe pick a winner here, or decide on a winner.
No, it's fine. I think the score would
We'll take a week on it though.
2-2 to 1.
The score would be, it'd be more than that, but you two would earn it. I only have 2 points basically.
and so does
you guys
Grant,
would be
right?
ahead.
No,
I've got 3. I've got oh no, we've got 2 because I got 2 because our marksman's
Is
canceled
that
out.
true?
Yeah.
Yeah, our marksman's canceled out.
Yeah, I thought
2.
it would be.
No,
under
Ben, I
0.
thought you-
I won the scimitar, and that's it.
Oh, but you tied a couple. Grant, what did you win?
I won leader and muscle.
All right, that's wrong because I shouldn't have won. Lando wins.
No. You're right.
Lando beats
No,
Jackson.
no. It's just sort of like
We don't know,
if you're
'cause that
going
math doesn't
leader
work.
against leader, it's like, all right, Lando versus Maul. I mean, I guess if it's a fist fight, though, there's no.
Yeah, I don't know. This is
It
weird.
worked.
I
It's so
played
weird
Maul
to do.
right
We
away
did
because
it,
I knew it
guys.
was like a lightsaber.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
It's all for nothing
yeah.
anyway. But it's
Well, I
weird.
mean, it's really
Yeah.
cadre versus cadre, right? And
Yeah.
they were good teams, but it's like ultimately on the battlefield, you got to do what you got to do,
Yeah. Do you want to see some of my B team that I didn't select?
Yeah,
Like,
let's
people
talk
I could
about
have selected?
all the people we didn't select. Yeah.
So I could have selected Bosk.
Yeah.
Bosk couldn't make it. Dengar's back there somewhere, by the way. I didn't bring him out. I didn't even bother. We got Lando, obviously, but that was chosen. I've got 000, which we talked about, and then my 2 wild cards. If it really got down to it, that people weren't available, I got Gamorrean Guard, which could have been my muscle, and I could have made an argument for Figrin Dan if I needed to really make an argument for Figrin Dan.
Yeah, if you're way down.
Adam,
Yeah.
I was gonna pick Salacious Crumb for brain.
Oh, that would've
and
been
just
amazing.
demoralize your team.
It's just like cackling over a comm system.
Yeah.
I
So
love it.
for my muscle,
Well,
I
dude.
wasn't gonna pick Asajj Ventress. I was gonna pick Diva Lompop.
Yeah, I was too.
Oh, that would have been good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like against lightsabers, I don't know. Probably not. I think I
No,
like
I think-
Asajj Ventress better there, but I loved her as an Underworld character because she's just great. But I mean,
yeah.
Sana Staros was in there. I was gonna do like a whole Staros based thing with.
I had a
with
Sana
Folk
Staros
Cobra.
leader.
Would that
I had a
for a
Sana
leader?
Staros
Yeah, that would have been a good
Cobra,
leader.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
I
Dryad
was-
Boss for leader. I had Boba
Yeah,
Fett
Dryad
for
Boss
leader.
was really
Django. I had Django Fett for leader, where I was like, I feel like he would really lead the team in the right direction.
Jango Fett would have been a good solid
Yeah,
pick
solid
for
leader.
someone. I just got to get that action figure. Before I decided to go I needed to put myself on rails in order to do this. I was thinking of an all droid team.
Ooh.
I was gonna try to put together an all droid team. Was one of my original thoughts.
I was like, I bet Adam could do a
like BT1, Triple Zero,
IG88. You have like
yeah.
IG88. You have Forlom. Yeah. Like there's enough that I was really considering
honestly,
doing that.
Maul versus like 000 and I'm sorry, BT1 or whatever.
BT1,
like,
yeah.
Like that. I don't know if anyone like lives against that.
Right? No, it's just destruction. It's
right.
Pure destruction.
Because BT1 has like, I don't know, like missile pods that come out or something. Yeah, it's insane.
This is more armaments than your Vermilion.
I had the Mandalorian in Marksman. Like Din Djarin.
Basically.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought about the Mandalorian, yeah.
Like, Death Rattle, and then he just like one-shot someone. Like, it's just, he's done that so many times in the show. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, that's clean.
I thought about a Mando lineup with Miggs Mayfield as the sharpshooter.
Oh yeah,
I refuse to pick Miggs Mayfield.
I hear you.
It's just like, no thanks.
It happens. And
I do love that scene. As much as it's complicated, I do love
episode.
That. Wow. I love that scene. It's one of my favorite scenes. Yeah.
I had Ochi of Bastoon in Marksman for a minute.
Whoa.
Ochi, yeah. Ochi would have been interesting.
Yeah, like if you were going to go Wild Sith, that would have worked.
Child card. You could have just stabbed everyone on your team, though.
With all his stabby.
That's true. I had Val in Marksman for a minute, too.
Yep, thought about Val. I had Tobias Beckett in a lineup.
I do Tobias Beckett leader would have been fun, but I don't know if he's the best leader. Like, he kind of...
I think he's pretty good. We watch him in Solo. Like, I think he's good at, like, rallying the troops.
And he only lost his wife in a job.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's just incredibly tough.
He seems a little hard in his luck.
He does.
I did have Bazine. I did have Bazine Natal in Brains for a minute there, but we don't get enough from that character to really.
Natal?
She's in The Force Awakens. She like
she's the one in the bar, right? You get her. She's in one of the first. She's in one of the first. The
assassin.
From a certain point of view.
The assassin.
Yeah, from a certain point of view. It was before. It was before. She was in like The Perfect Weapon.
The Perfect Weapon.
A short story that was released.
She's in that
I remember reading that
bodysuit and sitting in a
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, a Chagrian's like lap.
She's flirting with the not
Chagrian, but
she's right. She's the First Order spy, and then there's the Resistance droid spy.
Yep.
Again, boy, did that release of like short stories make me so excited for The Force Awakens.
Oh,
that was good stuff.
They had all that like collection. Yeah.
I had Hondo Onaka for pilot. Backup pick.
Oh, Hondo. Yeah. Yep, Hondo.
That's good. Actually, and for yours, Adam. So this, I had a lineup of Han Solo, Dr. Aphra, Sana Starros, Black K, Just Lucky. Was going to be my sharp.
Yeah, nice
Just
pick.
Lucky.
Good good sharp. Then, great marksman pick. Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's
then
awesome.
Volt Cobra, which is like I just wanted to say Volt Cobra. Yeah.
Yeah, I had Sana Starros leader, basically, and then I had Dr. Aphra brains. And then my muscle was, I was always going to pick like Diva Lompop or Dirge. Like, Black Chrysanthemum's incredibly strong, but I feel like he's a standalone or like a solitary sort of bounty hunter. I didn't know how the team synergy would be.
He's a gun for hire. My thought was that he would, if you paid him enough, he'd be
and if you had Aphra in there too, then he would.
That was my thought. They got along, so I figured she could talk him into it. You notice no one's mentioned Cad Bane.
That was the next person I was going to bring up. Nobody mentioned Cad Bane.
I thought about it for like 3 seconds, and I was like, absolutely not.
I have a hot take. I think Cad Bane was the best part of the Book of Boba Fett.
I don't disagree with that. But I like the way
they did a great job.
The look of it. He actually was
like animatronic sort
of.
He
looked intimidating.
Oh yeah,
for the first time.
He looked great.
Yeah, I like him. I actively like him in Book of Boba Fett, and that might be the only place I like Cad Bane.
One of the reasons I like him so much, in addition to the fact that he looks great, he's pitch perfect
because he
pitch perfect, like exactly who that character is. And he dies.
Yep.
Because I've seen him too much, and I'm tired of this like Deus Machina. Like for some reason, the bad guy always wins.
I know, survives. No, don't worry, he'll survive. I putting this together. I was literally at a trampoline park. I built my whole team around Black Chrysanthemum. Like I'm just like I need to have Black Chrysanthemum on my.
Yeah, he's so good.
And I was just like, I sit there going, oh my God, that's right. He shows up in Book of Boba Fett. I keep forgetting that happened and having to remind myself. And I'm like, should I rewatch Book of Boba Fett? So it may be the next thing I will rewatch.
Like, if
it's so
you
funny.
steamroll it and go
so many great
it
elements.
fast, like it's one thing, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird.
I don't think it's that bad, guys.
No, it's
not that bad.
No,
I guess the
look at it as
monoculture and like Boba Fett's moral alignment is like a little bit hard to swallow, but it's like.
I think only because we had to wait a week between episodes. Like when you just slam them in there, it happens for 1 minute on screen, and it's stupid, and then it's over, and then it's like whatever,
Here's my take on the Book of Boba Fett is I like it as a Star Wars story. I don't like it as a Boba Fett story. That's my only issue. Like if I disconnect myself from it being Boba Fett, I think it's good and well constructed and so many cool things in it. He's so good. I like his acting, and I'm glad we get to see so much of him. And they give him so much to do in it.
And he has some really,
to be fair,
moments. I mean, against Black
he gets to do more than
at the Tashi station, he like blows up that bar, like
right.
And the other guys there, like that was sick.
I mean, and Tamora Morrison gets more to do than Diego Luna, right? Like he's just not in.
Yeah, all the Tuscan stuff, and then the like Lawrence of Arabia, railroad train heist.
Right.
More with the sand creature fight. The
sand creature fight.
Was
freaking
amazing.
Pound for pound, there might be the coolest number of elements in a Star Wars show. Like there's so many cool things that happen. There's a twin huts on a
propulsor
on a platform.
That's
right.
Great.
There's a Rancor. There's a Boba Fett on a Rancor.
Someone rides a Rancor.
I'm surprised no one picked Malakili in this draft, and then they get Jabba's Rancor by
comes
default
with a Rancor.
or whatever. You know what I mean? Like comes with the character.
That's true.
It's like
honestly,
a Rancor on
that Rancor.
Not a bad call.
I kind of like the Rancor against. Well, no, I think Maul would actually make short work of him.
I think Maul makes short work of anything you put in front of him after having read
I think you take those arms out pretty quick.
Even if he's only half a man, the top half.
I mean, if you
but he's also half machine.
If you look at it's true. If you look at Jedi Survivor, I like the Rancor fights I had in that game were not that difficult.
I had the opposite experience. I think because I attacked it too early.
They're tough when you're not upgraded.
Are the toughest one.
I think you did. I also think you were on a higher. That's ridiculous. No, same thing. I died for hours trying to fight that thing, and I'm like, maybe I should wait and come back.
That's the fun thing is like, Jedi Survivor, it's great, and Jedi Fallen Order, but the Ogdo Bogdo, beware. Just run. If you see it, just run.
Oof. Just run. Just come back later. It's
Until
fine.
You're
you
like,
don't need
I'm
to
so
do it
strong
now.
I could kill anything, and then good luck.
Yeah.
I had to watch a video on how to beat that thing, and it still took me like 20 tries.
It is, it's a rough fight. There's so much dodging before you can actually hit it. Like that's what I remember is like it's so much like, it felt like something out of Dark Souls where I was just like I have to dodge. One little hit, dodge, one little hit,
dodge to the right, jump. Yeah.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Anyhoozle, I think we're a little bit off track.
Well, we'll see what they do in Outlaws.
I think we did it though. I think we drafted our teams, and we'll take a week to kind of percolate and think about who exactly won this fight, and let listeners weigh in. And then next week, I think we'll decide the victor.
Listeners, it wasn't me.
But you had a really beautiful team.
I was very happy with what I was able to do with component parts that were laying about.
Right
but
awesome. This was a long one. Thanks for sticking around to listen to our wild draft. Obviously, this was super fun for us. Let us know your draft. Reach out. Let us know what's up, as always. But stoked to do this every time. Next week, we are going to talk about, Outlaws, as we were saying. So I don't know. Depending on when we record this, it may be spoilery. It might not be spoilery. I think we're just going to try and really just rally more people to the cause of playing this game that promises to be awesome. So we will have had our first taste then. We'll talk about that, along with probably some other things. We'll see how it goes. But until then, thanks very much for listening. We'll talk to you next week. And, saddle up at the bar with you and cheers you.
Cantina Chronicles.